I think in the beginning, Title IX, first and foremost, I wouldn't undersell the significance, the symbolic significance of having, a piece of legislation that puts women on equal footing. But in the beginning, particularly for me and for my generation, it was a means to an end, meaning we actually now had the opportunity to compete in the sports that we loved in order to help further our education. So through scholarships and opportunities, we were able to go to college, but it was never really about the sport. It was about how do I further my education through Title IX. We've evolved since then to the point where now our women athletes, not only can they have coaching as a profession, but we're also seeing the very beginnings of really viable professional opportunities. And I think that's the evolution of Title IX for opening up a whole world that wasn't previously available. But it's been phenomenally impactful in my life, and I know many, many others of my generation. Wow, so I played softball from the time I was a very little kid because I grew up on the street with all boys. And so ended up started playing baseball, obviously, but by the time I was about, I guess, 10 or 11, Bobby Sox softball came to Bakersfield, and my parents signed me up, and I instantly fell in love with the game. Again, coming from a baseball family, my brother played baseball, so that was kind of that was my thing. I basically realized that those skills and abilities that exist in student athletes, all they need is to understand how to translate those once they get after college into the working world. So that was the genesis of it, wanting to help accelerate that development for student athletes and letting them know that they have all the tools that they need to be successful in a career after college. And we're just helping them shape that, understand it, be purposeful about it. Particularly the time that I came into the workforce, there were very few women in executive positions. So the ability to compete, the ability to have confidence, the ability to come back from setbacks, particularly in a diamond sport like softball and baseball, you fail 7 times out of 10 at the plate. And so the ability to be resilient, to come back from failure, to not let setbacks derail you, to use them actually as a motivating factor. So that was one of the primary things that for me personally. Teamwork, collaboration, even more so today than when I was coming out into the workforce. Work gets done in teams. It gets done collaboratively. It gets done with other people. And I'll take a college athlete over anybody any day in terms of their ability and understanding what it means to put your team above yourself. Again, we're at the 50th anniversary of Title IX, and we're at the point now where people like me who have benefited from it and who have been successful and have built wealth, it's time for us to give back. It's time for us to lift up the people that are coming after us and lift the sport up. So particularly softball, but not just softball, but other women's sports. So it's just a way for me to give back to the Bakersfield community where I grew up, and just absolutely enjoyed my time working with all the programs at CSUB, women's basketball, women's volleyball, softball, and women's soccer. Just phenomenal student athletes there and great coaches. And it's just a way, I guess, to give back to my hometown. Yeah, I just think Title IX, especially now when it's really very hard to find consensus around anything in the political environment, Title IX is a phenomenal example of a piece of legislation that truly changed the lives of millions and millions of women for the better. If you think about where women's sports are today versus 50 years ago, and all the opportunities that women have had, not just in sports, but because they were able to get the education that sports provided, because they were able to grow and become confident and learn how to compete and learn how to be successful in the business world. Our society, our organizations, our communities, our economy is better off for that. So I think the message of Title IX is change is possible, and positive change is absolutely possible when we work together to create it.